Hi everybody and welcome to the weekend. We're going to go over, you probably wondered why didn't I release this yesterday, but there's so many things to go over yesterday. But the spreadsheet is now done and is out, and we're going to be focused on Valiant and Paragon. I'm not sure if some of the Paragon deals are then put into categories of, say, lower progressions, but we're going to be going over some stuff in game. I'm going to be talking about Valiant, and then also I'm going to be trying to cross-reference the value against, say, previous Hunter's Market, because there are some things that I feel that have stood out in value that have gone down and gone up. Actually, I tell a lie, mainly down. Okay, so focusing on the Valiant side of things, there's a few deals that have stood out to me which I've kind of like referenced and pointed out. There's notes and kind of like justification to everything that I'm talking about today, and one of the ones that I want to talk about and kick off with is the one in the top left hand corner, this deal right here, Valiant Bundle 1. You can do this at 4 purchases, and the total value for all 4 being purchased. Now, you don't need to do, I don't think you actually need to do 4 to get a rank 4 champion. It's actually a lot less. So to get a rank 4 champion, a rank 3 champion, sorry, is going to be 3. Yeah, 3 tier for alpha, just so I don't go completely mad. So it means that you'll be spending 4,500 units. That is very interesting. It's very interesting and good because it's like a Cyber Weekend deal where you get to choose. However, it's better. In these short 4 months, or less than 4 months, we've seen Hunter's Market deal package that was worth you, first of all, having to spend 5,000 units. So yep, you had to spend 5,000 units to get to the next part, which then saw you spend 4,000 units, which you could buy twice, to get, but the main point is 9,000 units spent in order to get what is a rank 3 7-star, right? So that's 9,000 units, but now you only need to spend 4,500 units. That isn't too bad. That is a big change and actually really good. There's some really weird, like, good deals from this, but only if you're in the market to actually use your units here. Especially because players might feel a little bit spent of units, especially if you're free to play from doing things like the Epic of Pain. Once you've done that, you're like, well, do I actually want to spend any more units? It's further interesting because if you look at some of the other deals where there's an excessive amount of units spend, and one thing that I am a little bit disappointed in is how Kabam have valued the tier 7 basic, which is, if I get it better into shot, it is here. 5,000 units per time per purchase. Now, look at it from this way. There's there's 1 plus to this. Okay, so this deal right here, the bundle number 5, if you're looking at it from a point of view of, and I think I'm under, like, no, I'm not even close. So if I was close to forming, then potentially not too bad, but overall not worth it at all. If you're looking to get a fully formed tier 7 basic, you would be better off taking those 20,000 units, 100%ing Epic of Pain, and getting the last, or getting all of the Karina's Challenges objectives done. By doing that, you would get 1 tier 7 basic from the Karina's Challenges. You would get then 1 fully formed from the completion of Epic of Pain, and of course you get the rank 4 7-star. There's a lot more you could do with 20,000 units than you could do with this bundle right here. And I don't think those romance, like, signature stones, which, let's face it, and I think this is a crafty thing Kabam are kind of like trying to do, is kind of make you feel that you want to 200 signature, as I'm gonna have to work quickly, my battery's low, 200 signature new champions, but also awaken them at the same time. This is what brings me then on to the theory of awakening as to why I've put down to not go with this bundle right here, because I just don't see there's any great value. The 10,000 units spent, again, could be better spent elsewhere. Although, if there's high spenders, I think they'll be interested in this. Low spenders or low free-to-play unit spenders, there's some good value here, but it just comes at a weird time as to where you're taking your units currently in-game. Are you taking them in to do end-game content like Epic Pain, or as well doing the Karina's Challenges, or you're not bothering? But there are some good things, some interesting things as well. I don't think it's worth going too deep into these war boxes unless you really want some of the champions that feature in them, like Iceman, Awakening Iceman, and when it repeats again. is extensively spent. Like, who in their right mind wants to spend that amount? Even spending like on 10 and like parting with 60k units. There'll be people out there, but it's just not something I think a lot of people will necessarily go for or be likely interested in to do. There's also some other deals as well that I feel a bit, you know, I've questioned as to, if you're into relics, then hey, go for relics. But that's still units spent in this particular way that's a bit questionable. Then there's some other things that spring up. Like there's a rank 2 to 3 gem. If you want to like rank 3 a 7-star and you're like, right, well, I might go for the Valiant bundle 6. It's not too bad because we're comparing it again. Like if you want unspecific and generic 2 to 3 gem rank up, then go this way with this one. If you want something that's very much kind of like centered around going, and it is, I think it's about the same, isn't it? 4,500. Yeah, it's the same. So you get the choice of like what you want to do. Romance orientated rank up with a little bit of ISO, or do you want to just go with the generic and just do whatever you want? You choose. Or hoard it for Cyclops blue team buff, providing it's good. So hold on to it, maybe. The same thing could be said for the 7-star Awakening gem, but I don't really recommend that on the extent of a unit spend for that. And that concludes Valiant. There are a few deals that I have missed off of, and there's the good reason, because there's just not something that really stands out to me or stands out to note. Like the 6-star one, the rank like 1 to 6, oh sorry, 1 to 5. That's good, but then you've got to have a specific romance champion that you want to choose. It's kind of like, it might be good for some, but not for others, and it kind of puts in this kind of midway of interest and appreciation. Let's now move on to Paragon players. I want to give a bit of thanks to everybody that came out in the Discord to post their screenshots of what Paragon players get. I still think there's a bit of a kind of contrast to what Paragon and Thronebreaker players get, and it might be a case of a lot of these might be the same for Thronebreaker, so I'm not sure. I need to do a bit of research on that. But there are some good things. Actually, there's a lot of good things, good deals for Paragon players. A similarity thing that I said that, well, you know, a low cost investment is 1,500 for Valiant players. It's 3,000 units for getting a 6-star romance champion from rank 1 to rank 5. Which, look, if you've got something that you might need to take up for whatever reason to take on some content, it's an option, but it's 3,000. It's 3,000 units, and do you really want to spend that? Especially if you're looking to progress into the 7-star realm of things. And that 7-star realm of things is actually, again, another very interesting endeavor. If again we bring into the situation what is tier for alpha, 2,000 per time spend. It is fully formed as per my people that have kind of looked into it. So that's 6,000 units. And before, in Cyber Weekend 2024, it was a lot more. To get access to that particular rank up or get those particular items, you were spending first 5,000 to unlock and then a further 4,000 in order to get this deal right here. And that's pretty impressive to kind of think that 9,000 units spent before is now the equivalent of 6,000. You spend 6,000 units and you actually get an additional tier 4 alpha. So I'm not going to like break down that because it could be me saying it's 14,000 units to get what now you get for 6,000 units may not feel is exactly the case, but it's sort of there, because then if you look on the progression side of things, that's probably it. So yeah, you'd kind of buy that one right there and that one right there to get where we are with the current situation of the deals as they break down for this one. So that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy that that's indeed the case with it. But moving on and talking about this bundle here, like rank 1 to rank 2, again we're seeing some like good savings on the 1 to 2 of the 7-star. There is some like RNG with those crystals, a couple of crystals. But I'm kind of like always, I'm not into RNG based crystals. I just don't think it's particularly fun. Although people are definitely having fun with getting some good stuff out of them. And if you want to find out how to farm more of those particular crystals, I'll put a link to at the back of the video in the end card. There'll be a thing you can tap on to find out to get more couples crystals for free. You might have already seen the video that I've posted about this. So is there anything else of note? Well, again, I've kind of like said about doing the signature stones. I'm not a big fan of promoting signature stones because, especially with romance crystals, they're romance orientated events because they're very specific and they're very narrow. And if them being very narrow, it means your spread and coverage is not exactly perfect. You might be like, well, I want a 200 signature champion. well, I only have a limited amount with the romance ones. It can be helpful down the line because more champions can be added to the romance line, so you may want to hoard them for a lot longer. And the same thing when it goes for Valiant players as well. That's obviously down to your personal, whether or not you're a hoarder of stuff or not. And we're looking at these final 2 deals, which are these ones right here. That I feel of note. I've already mentioned this rank 1 to rank 5. And of course for Paragon players, if you want a rank 2 to 3 gem, it's actually 500 units more for the 2 to 3 of the romance. But, and here's the big but, and which is actually not too bad, and why it's actually slightly better is, you don't have to find the tier 6 class catalyst for this. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Because you're going to go, that saved me on tier 6 class catalyst. And then the same thing when it comes to like the previous one. Like these deals here for Paragon and Valiant are actually looking at them more tastier because of the saving of resource that you have to do for this. So like the tier 6 class catalyst, you just hold on to. But again, you have to find a romance-based champion that fits the bill. Apart from that, there's nothing really of standout value apart from these ones. I'm not saying it's ridiculously bad. There are good things. So if I was to say it's better, above, yeah, it's good. I wouldn't say it's above average. Like it's a good deal. There's some good deals out there. They're not brilliant, but there's stuff that's cost saving since Cyber Weekend deals. Saving of resource from grabbing stuff like this versus the tier 4 alpha. But the tier 4 alpha might be needed if you're looking to future proof your rank 4s. So you may want to hold on to some tier 4 alpha for that potentially. But because tier 4 alpha is not exactly easy to get nowadays. It sort of is and sort of isn't. You have to spend, like, you have to like work hard to get it. So that's where I think I'm up to with this. There are some good things. Those are the things I've put out. Those are the justifications as to why, but do be very careful as to what you choose. That's going to be it for the video. I thank you very much for watching. And what are your thoughts on some of the deals? Some that you like, some that you don't. Some of these things are kind of like a bit out there. We'll be talking about spending deals probably later on today. But that's it for the video. Have a lovely weekend, whatever you're doing. And I'll see you all in the next video, whenever that will be. Have a lovely day and goodbye for now.